RULAC. Other civil societies condemn rising Hêrdsmen attacks in Southeast, demand decisive action from Nigerian government. My dear listeners, it is another interesting episode of Gist I bring to your listening ears today. Good day from wherever you're listening from. Now moving on to the full details, kindly please ensure you like, subscribe to this channel and share. A coalition of civil society organizations across Nigeria's southeast has decried the incessant and unchecked attacks by bandit herdsmen on communities in the region. The groups, in a joint statement released on Saturday, highlighted a pattern of violence and government inaction that has left many communities in the southeast vulnerable and law enforcement credibility in question. The coalition, comprising the Rule of Law and Accountability Advocacy Center (RULAC) and 6 others, cited a disturbing increase in violent incidents across the 5 southeastern states: Abia, Anambra, Lebon, Enugu, and Imo. The groups painted a grim picture of killings, kidnappings, destructions of farmlands, and mass displacement, with minimum response or accountability from the Nigerian security agencies. In Abia State, the groups noted that residents of Isikwatol and Umunaochil have repeatedly suffered attacks and kidnappings attributed to suspected herdsmen. Similar incidents have plagued Anambra's Ayamelom and Orumba North local government areas, forcing many farmers to abandon their livelihoods. Ebonyi State, Nkalaha community in Ishielu local government area has suffered deadly assault, while in Enugu State, recent invasions of Eamuful and Uzowani have resulted in significant casualties and displacement, the group stressed. Also, the group noted that Imo State remains unhedged following repeated attacks in the Okigwe zone and along critical Owerri-Ungo, Okpala-Aba Road, where suspected herdsmen have repeatedly ambushed travelers and commercial vehicles, kidnapped, killed, and burnt several of the victims. These attacks persist in a climate of apparent selective enforcement of the law. Communities who attempt to defend themselves from destruction and violence have faced retaliatory state actions, including arrest and forced financial compensations to others, the group stated. In some cases, these punitive actions are executed at the behest of state government officials, seeking to appease vested interests rather than uphold justice. According to them, in 2020, residents of Ezini Itel in Baisel in Imo State were reportedly forced by state actors to pay compensation to others whose cattle were harmed after destroying local farmlands. No restitution was made to the farmers, nor were the others prosecuted for trespass or destructions under the criminal law and relevant land use statutes. The groups accused security forces of displaying inertia in dealing with these attacks, contrasting their rapid and aggressive operations against alleged camps of the indigenous people of Biafra Laipo and its paramilitary arm, the Eastern Security Network (ESN). The groups argued that the government's selective enforcement of the law breaches both constitutional protections and the basic tenet of justice. They said this pattern raises legal and constitutional concerns, stressing that Section 14(2)(b) of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended provides the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of government. They further noted that Section 42 prohibits discrimination on any basis, including selective application of justice. The seeming reluctance of law enforcement to prosecute armed herdsmen, juxtaposed with their destructive and unrestrained operations in the southeast, suggests a breach of the principle of equal protection under the law, the group said. It also raises questions about the neutrality of federal law enforcement agencies and the militarization of the Southeast, which now hosts an excessive number of security checkpoints, particularly in civilian areas, and act inconsistent with the principles of federalism and civil liberties. The alleged incidences of extortion, brutality, and harassment at the checkpoint remain largely uninvestigated, even when widely reported in mainstream and social media. The federal government committed the federal government continues silence on these concerns, including its failure to proscribe or designate armed herdsmen as terrorists under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, despite their widely documented acts of terror further undermines public confidence in state institutions. My dear listeners, now have come to the end of our today's news. Please do drop by at the comment section and let us know what your view is all.